You know, if many of you are confused, I don't blame you about what's going on in the labour movement at the moment. Everything's in a state of flux, of change, constant change and instability. You know, the best term, the best collective noun I can think of to describe this is a confusion of trade unions. I mean, just look at May Day last Sunday. We had the COSATU rally in Mamelodi, attended by the usual suspects, President Jacob Zuma, the General Secretary of the Communist Party, Bladen Nzimande. Then we had the Workers' Summit rally, actually organized by the National Union of Metal Workers, which is the one that's calling for a new independent federation in Tembisa. And then also we had the Association of Mine Workers and Construction Union, AMCU, which happens to be the largest affiliate of NACTU, having a rally in Klerksdorp. But AMCU happens also to be the largest affiliate of NACTU. And the NACTU president, Joseph Mokene, was present at the Tembisa meeting. All very, very confusing. What is clear, however, is that COSATU has no intention of leaving the alliance, of budging in any way from the position which has actually resulted in a lot of these tensions. You see, government is the biggest employer in the land. And this goes back to 1993, when at a COSATU Congress, NUMSA put forward the proposal that if and when the ANC became government, the alliance should break and the union should step aside, because they could not be in bed with an employer and the government would be the biggest employer. It's a pretty sound argument. But the counter-argument was, no, we have to be in government because there we can influence policy. And in 1995, with the introduction of the Labour Relations Act, etc., there seemed to be some argument for this. But by 1996, by which time the government was in the process of completely demolishing and dismissing their own macroeconomic research group's findings and the macroeconomic policy, and brought in GEAR, but they brought it in after the trade unions, the combined united trade union movement, had actually put forward a quite sensible interventionist policy called social equity and job creation. But of course, when GEAR came in, COSATU, is the largest union with its impeccable anti-apartheid credentials, grumbled a lot, but went along with GEAR. It was a terrible contradiction. A major contradiction, and sooner or later it had to give, and it did. The apparent final gamble, I think, was the Zuma tsunami that swept President Jacob Zuma to the presidency both of the ANC and of the government. This was supposed to bring about a new pro-worker orientation in government. It didn't. It was also complicated along the way by the scandals at Nkandla and Marikana, the massacre at Marikana, and led to the messy slanging match, which finally resulted in the expulsion of NUMSA and of the General Secretary of COSATU, Zwelinzima Vavi. COSATU is now badly fractured, and there's a call on all sides, COSATU, NUMSA, call it what you will, to go back to basics, back to shop floor democracy. And I hope that this will work, just for the sake of every single one of us who's a seller of labour. We need a stable, united and democratic trade union movement. Anyway, that's what I shall concentrate on in my Inside Labour column this week, which you can access on this platform, Fin24, tomorrow, and a version of which will appear in the City Press business section on Sunday. Until then, it's over to you for comments, suggestions, etc. at editor@fin24.com. That's editor@fin24.com. And for this week, that's all from me. Cheers.